The grass is green, and everything I do is unseen. But I know that's just in my mind. I know everything is just in my mind. Do you really want to be famous? Do you really want to be a superstar? Do you really want to get dangerous? Do you even know where the groupies are? Bitches out here be...
Welcome to Hammer's House.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Hammer's House, brought to you in part by Spotlight Sports Network. I'm with my boy Ricky from the Daily Sporting. What is good,
What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on, Hammer?
And tonight we are going to be talking about the New York Mets with some news for this week, and good and bad, I guess. We were looking forward to this new ownership, a new day, a new era for the New York Mets, and late Monday evening, we ended up back page news for the wrong reasons again, folks.
Yeah, definitely it felt. Sorry, I just fixed
Go
it. So basically, the way I see it is, people say like the typical Mets or whatever it may be. I don't see it that way, to be honest with you. At first, yes, the first initial general manager gets caught in a sexual harassment, right? First thing I think is, oh my God, this is typical Mets. You know, what's going on right now. And sorry about that. And so, but then what really I thought was the best thing was Steve Cohen right away, like 12 hours later, basically he's fired. There was no press release. There was no, hey, we got to see, investigate, or hey, we got to see, the full story, because it was brand new. No one really knew anything, right? ESPN took out the report. Everyone kind of found out that way.
Well, the thing is, ESPN had this story since 2016.
Right.
Because the accuser was in the field of media at the time. She did not want this going public for fear of her job and her career.
Right.
So pretty much she is no longer in the field of media and journalism, and pretty much ESPN went and made it public. It blows my mind from the report.
But when you say they made it public, she reached out to them, or
from what I understand,
to the original reporter and said, "Hey, I now want to move forward with this." Which again, listen, I'm glad she did. I'm glad we didn't. He's gone or whatever it may be. To be honest with you, I really don't care. I'm just happy how Steve Cohen handled it. To me, that showed a brand new day. How the Mets handle it, fire him right away. To me, that was the right move, Hammer. I don't know what you're thinking, but to me, that was the exact right move.
I hope,
and they did it swiftly. And there was, to me, again, there was no delaying and nothing like that.
Right. And I totally agree with you. When I got the report of it from Jeff Passan, late Monday night, I right away was like, this dude is going to be fired by lunchtime tomorrow. And what was it, 8:40 to 8:43 a.m. Tuesday morning? He was fired. So they did the right thing. Cohen and Alderson made it clear that this is something that we will not condone. We are zero tolerance about this. They did the right thing. It sucks in a sense that, again, this was something that was not made public for 5 years.
Yeah.
And he worked with the Arizona Diamondbacks after he left Chicago, and then he got this position, and neither one of these teams were aware of it. We don't know if the Cubs were fully aware of it either. I think the Cubs were fully aware of it at the time. It would have been known to the general public at that time.
I'm assuming it would have came out. You can't keep something like that in. I'm surprised they kept it in this long, but really what that is that the reporter didn't say anything. And the woman, like you said, she was in the field. She was scared, I guess, of repercussions, what definitely could have happened. Again, these are all valid, things to think. And then not saying anything. I guess her reason was he's getting, this job of power. And this is basically, I didn't want this guy to be, because listen, the way he was going, he was, they were talking about this guy to be the next great thing.
Yeah.
And so again, I guess she said, when he was a man of that much power, that's when I decided to say something. The reporter, I get it. I guess they held on for it. Did they know when? So I mean, the original reporter knew. She knew. I keep forgetting her name, and I apologize.
I never even heard the name. That's the thing. If you know the name, it's funny because
I'll tell you right now.
I have yet to hear the name. I just am, and you know what? It's fine with me. It doesn't.
The original reporter, it was a woman, and she held down. She knew from 2017. Let me get her name. Kim's. She said that.
It was Mina Kimes. My fault. Yeah, it was Mina Kimes.
Yes, that's Kimes. Sorry. Yes. So she from 2017 knew. Again, being, reporters have, they can't, if their source doesn't want them to say anything, they can't go and say it, right?
Right.
So again, in my eyes, she had no choice. She didn't have to say, she didn't want to say anything. And then I'm assuming, when she called and probably said, hey, this guy's going to be the GM, they ran with it. They had no choice. Once she said to go forward, ESPN had to run with it.
Right.
And yeah, it's, people want to say other things, but, that's different.
What up, Raider Spotlight? What up, brothers? Hope all is well. Thank you for coming on in. It is a tough situation right now, and it's like, where do we go from here when it comes to the GM position? Now, there was a person, the president of baseball operations with the Cleveland Indians, Chris Antonetti, that was regarded as one of the highly most respectable guys in front offices in Major League Baseball, that was a potential candidate. He actually was the one that was involved with the trading of Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco to the New York Mets. Do we think that the Mets try to bring him still over to the Mets, or is there somebody else out there? Obviously,
be the assistant general manager that they have, Zach. What's his name? Zach Scott.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying he was a finalist for the GM job, and then he became the assistant for Jared Porter. So the way I look at it is
just put him in that position, and that's it.
Like a finalist. You had Porter and the Mets obviously liked him enough to hire him as an assistant to the general manager,
right?
Which I'm sure he had some type of, I'm not saying same, but in the Lindor trade, he was somewhat involved. I mean, to me, it's, you already have it in-house. And I think I saw Sandy Alderson say that he wasn't even thinking about filling the spot, if that makes sense. But he was like, that wasn't a big rush. Like, they were not rushing to fill that spot. Like, it seemed to me like if they had to go through that whole process, because the original process took a while too.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did.
If
he wants to hold on to the reins now, let him hold on to it. I can't say anything. I can't be against that at all. He showed what he could do before the GM.
Stays with it, doesn't hire anyone. What do you think?
I think you can hire somebody else. I don't think, again, it's not something that needs to be rushed, but we all also need to take into consideration that pitchers and catchers report in less than a month, actually, in probably like the next 3 weeks now, give or take. So it's like, I think you attempt to do it, but again, it doesn't have to be rushed, and we're still in the middle of free agency, which is the next thing that we're gonna go into. What are we in? Thursday. So Tuesday,
right,
the Toronto Blue Jays came to terms with George Springer, formerly of the Houston Astros, on a 6-year, $150 million contract. Now, a couple of my sources had reported that the Mets had actually offered Springer a 6-year deal between the range of $120 to $125 million. Toronto offered what they offered, and he bid it. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint that this dude is not looking to get a ring. He's all about the money right now. I see what Toronto's building, but I don't feel like they're a legit contender yet, especially not in the AL East.
I'm glad they didn't do it. 150 to me is a little much for Springer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we were about 30 million off. They said, right? 25.
Yes. Yes.
Again, Springer wants to go to Blue Jays. They have a good lineup. I'll tell you that much. But you're right. They're not real contenders. I don't see they're nowhere near the Yankees. They're nowhere near the Astros. So, you know what I mean? They to me, they're not a big time threat. But again, that team could build. They're not that far away either. But I'm glad they didn't do it. I'm fine not paying 150 for George Springer. I'm sorry, I am. I'm fine. Look, and I was talking about it too. Look, Cohen's going to spend all this much, but he said it originally. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to spend like a drunken sailor.
Right.
I'm trying to stay under that luxury tax of 210.
Right.
And I also think part of it is during the season they might want to make trade. I don't see this GM as being still during the trade deadline, right? Like if they're in it, I think he's willing to make a trade, if necessary. So again, right. I think they're also giving some room there when they want to make some, during the midseason. But I think it's fine. I'm not sad about George Springer.
Well, I
wanted him. I'm not going to stay here until I didn't, but that not as much as I wanted. I'd rather have Han after Lindor. I said I'd rather have Han, and if we could get Bauer, then but that's going to put him at the 210 luxury tax. I don't see how it doesn't.
Well, Bauer right now, apparently, there's reports out there that the top two teams that he could be going to that Trevor Bauer could be going to, that is Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or the New York Mets. And there's things to look at in regards to this situation. You have to understand Bauer grew up in Southern Cali. He went to UCLA. So it's home sweet home for him if he were to choose that route. Right. Pretty much you'd be put in a situation where you're with Mike Trout, who I think pairing him with Mike Trout would be something to more or less try to build that team to be a playoff contender this coming season. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to see with the Mets. You see what they've built so far.
Right.
If Bauer is to sign with the New York Mets, they are going to have hands down one of the best rotations in Major League Baseball this season.
No, so if Bauer comes here, forget about it. We have a good rotation now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but this is going to be like
yeah.
Stop us if you can.
Right. As everyone's healthy, and then you have Noah coming back after he comes back to play any form of his old self.
Right.
June or July. They don't have to rush him. They could literally say, "Hey, try to be where you're eligible to go to the playoffs. You're fine." Like that. That is your deadline, right? Whenever the cutoff is to make the playoffs, that's your deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to me, again, we're gonna pay him. Bauer doesn't like. It seemed like he wanted 1 year, 2. He doesn't want that. He wants
long term, but I don't see him getting Garrett Cole money. I do not see that happening right now.
No, that's 36 million a year.
Mm-hmm. I don't see that happening.
No, exactly not.
And that's the same thing with George Springer. It was like whatever I think his asking price was a lot more. I think he wanted like a longer than 6-year contract. And I feel like when they saw what DJ LeMahieu got in regards to the 6-year, $90 million with the Yankees, his agent had to have been in his ear like, yeah, buddy, you're not getting that much. Like you're not getting 200 like 175 plus. You're not getting that.
Hammer, I think he's looking at 200 million. I think that's what his thought is right now.
You think that's what Bauer's looking for?
Yes.
I cannot see. I'll say I won't see the Mets paying that.
Put it this way. If we get Bauer for less than 175 for like, let's say, I don't know, 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's probably going to want 6 years, right?
He's probably going to want 6.
He wants 6. How old is he?
Shit.
I forgot.
I'm going to look that up. I feel like me and him he might be slightly younger than me.
Because 6 years, to me, for pitchers, 6 years, just a kiss of death. That 6 year, even that 5th.
Oh, he's way younger than me. What am I saying? He's 30.
Oh, yeah.
He's 30 years old.
For a pitcher, though, it's not crazy to say after 4 years, the last 2 years might be a dud. But again,
yeah, that's how you have to look at it, though. When it comes to a pitcher, I feel like year to year, it's full of uncertainty for any pitcher now. Like, these are not the days when we were younger where, like, you didn't hear Tommy John being the injury being so often. And now it's like year in, year out, there's a different pitcher that ends up getting Tommy John. Like, I would be cautious with that. I would do 3 to 5 at the most. I would not exceed that though.
I'm with you. Look, I don't me 4 years, 4 years, whatever. To me, I was even thinking, hey, if you would take 4 years and I don't know, 30 million a year, or even Cole's 36 million a year, but for 4 years. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd rather give him, okay, you want a lot of money, we'll give you a lot per year, but the contract is smaller. But he wants that payment and 6 years.
Or you could do it where like you get a high first 2 years and then the back end is low. Like it's just hard to really see them doing that. But
I mean, look, he's waiting. It's obvious that he's waiting to the last minute. So he's in no rush. This guy Bauer doesn't seem like he flinches. So him and his agent seem like they're in it for they're waiting to see. I guess right at that moment, we're like, you know what? Okay, we can't get any more than.
Are we going to see what we saw with Dallas Keuchel during his offseason and then not getting picked up until like the middle of the season last year? Like the market has been terrible for free agencies last 2-3 years. It really has been.
You're right, but Hammer, he was just a Cy Young.
You're right.
Cy Young.
You feel like somebody would have pulled the trigger on that right away, though, knowing that he was Cy Young.
Everyone lost money. Right now, it's just for the big markets. If you're not a big boy, you're not in the talks right now.
Jake, what up? And I see, there we go. 5 years should always be the max with these players. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I want 4 years. I'm not even arguing. But he wants 6. I'm just telling you what Bowers wants.
Yeah, nah, dude.
He wants 6. He wants 6 at like 30 million, whatever craziness like he wants.
And then what does that do for us with the remaining free agents? Because I've heard a lot of Met fans, a lot of guys that are saying, oh, we should bring back Justin Turner, Justin Turner wants 4 years. And I feel like the only 2 teams that are remotely going to even swing that way for him right now is going to be the Dodgers or the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, the Blue Jays are trying to build something special.
Yeah.
But
well, they have a lineup. I mean, again, if you look at that lineup, it's a lineup that scores. I don't want Justin Turner. I don't. And that's an old basic Met move. I mean, it's not the worst. I don't want to give him 4 years. He's older, right? He's 33.
Me and him are the same age. He is 34 years old. 34. So yeah, he's gonna play until he's in his late 30s, and then what?
Yeah, I don't want that same Met move. I'd rather not have him. For me, look, to me, my priority right now, and it's really been since the door. I mean, I wanted Bauer, Springer. Those would have been nice, but my main focus was Hand. We need that for the bullpen. I'd rather they go overpay for Hand.
And Hand is still out there, right?
Yes, he's still. From what I know, I don't remember.
I'd give Hand 2-year deal. Actually, let me check that because I was reading something earlier. There might be a slight chance that he's off the board as well.
Is he?
He might be.
Oh man, that would suck. Because they're looking at someone else. What's his name? Oh my God, Jeff? I forgot his name.
The Blue Jays and Angels are eyeing Brad Hand right now. I could have sworn I saw something earlier, but yeah, Hand, Jeffress, Anibal, and Teheran are like the main people that are like being looked at right now. They're the main pitchers that are to be looked at in free agent market. And I'm just thinking about other moves that could be made, other guys that can be signed. Like we didn't get Springer. Brantley obviously re-signed on a 2-year, $32 million deal with the Astros to stay with the Astros. I would like to have Jackie Bradley Jr. as a Met. He's a great defensive center fielder. He's got an average bat, but dude can play the field.
He would be. So again, they would put him in center, right?
Yeah.
And they move Nimmo over. No, it's a big upgrade there, and that's defensively they're much better with Brantley as center field. And he's no slouch hitting. If you look at his numbers, he's not.
Yeah, my boy Jake is saying Hand did get signed. Who signed him?
Who signed him?
I thought I read it today. I want to say it was a team on the West Coast, but I cannot remember for the life of me right now.
Let me see right now. Hand. I don't see. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see that he's signed.
I'm waiting for him to put this up, and he's not. I definitely thought I saw something earlier, but maybe I'm losing my. Maybe I'm wrong.
But yeah, I think that would be a really good move. But if he's what if he's not available? What if we don't sign him? Do we put Dominic out there? I mean, do we basically who do we have then? We have Nemo, Dominic. The problem is we don't know if we're getting the DH yet.
That's the other hurdle right now. And then I'm hearing the reports about what the DH rule is going to be and all this other garbage. Like, oh, if you pull your DH and your pitcher has to bat once, I'm like, what?
Something like that. If you pull them before the 6 or 7 or something like that, the pitcher has to bat. Why wouldn't they just do it regularly? Like,
it doesn't make sense.
But anyway, I personally, like I said, on one hand, your idea, I think that's really good. I do not want Turner.
No, sorry, JT. Yeah. Like, no, sorry, bro.
That's a typical move. I don't want that.
But I feel like putting Hand on a 2-year deal if he's available. I know he's saying he's not. I could have sworn.
I know.
Might have saw.
Not available. I don't want any of the guys. I'd rather not sign Annabelle to Heron and Jeffries.
But there's also another one that's being talked about that the Mets are keeping an eye on right now, and he is from the Cubs. There's a potential signing for the Mets, and this is from SNY's Danny Abriano about the Mets potentially signing center fielder Albert Almora from the Chicago Cubs. Another guy that is a very, very good center fielder defensively. 2018 was worth 10 outs above average in 137 games. 2019, 3 outs above average in 125 games. 0 in 28 games in center field. They've expressed interest in Enrique Hernandez as well, who can play both outfield and infield. Like I said, there's also Jackie Bradley Jr. It's very hard to make up the roster right now, and the one major annoyance, especially from Met fans as well right now, is if they're in fact going to have a DH this coming season. So
that would save a lot of our problems. That would
absolutely would, especially like the one thing right away, like you can have Dom Smith at first base or Pete Alonso at DH or vice versa. Like that'll definitely help in a big way. It sucks, man. Like us trying to figure this whole thing out right now, them still not having a clear, concrete decision on this when they've already said, oh, we're playing 162 games and everything. Like, why aren't the rest of the rules laid out right now? Like,
yeah, and especially this big of a deal because it changes everyone. It would change how people, get people in the off season. So like I you're right about this. It's a month away. How they don't have one of the biggest decisions in baseball in years, because this is great. Crazy that it's coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So again, that it's coming to the National League. I don't know. You're right. I don't know who dropped the ball on this. I don't know why they're still going at it. I'm assuming it's the rules. I don't know why they don't just keep it the same as the American League, but I don't know. I haven't really read too much about it.
And Jake just confirmed it does not look like Brad Hand is signed yet. Thank goodness.
No, thank God. Yeah.
So let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. Come on.
Hammer, we overpay for him right now. Look at the people that you said are left. There's no good relievers left. Hand changes that whole bullpen. Hand is more important than what George Springer would have done.
Agreed. I still don't trust Familia. I don't trust Diaz right now. Like, yay, he beat arbitration. Like, I'm not sold on him yet. And
no, there's a good reason not to be sold on.
We have to wait and see how this plays out. Kiki Hernandez would be a really good utility player on the roster. He could be. This is so up and down right now. I cannot wait to see how the rest of this fills out over the next coming weeks. Like I said, pitchers and catchers report in about 3 weeks. So these guys need to start making moves, especially if pitchers are reporting in 3 weeks. You guys should try to make a decision now so we can get them down to Port St. Lucie and start getting everything worked out.
The only thing I could say about that is these
2
guys
years,
are
24 million. 2 years, 24 million is fair. I would sign up right away for that.
Yeah, these are fair. These are things that I would take. I don't know if Hand's taking that. I don't know if Hand's taking that. And look, what's his name just got paid from the White Sox?
Mm-hmm.
The reliever, right? The closer?
Yeah.
He was huge.
But he's a closer as well.
You're right. But Hand knows his worth with the Mets. And there is no closer with the Mets. I mean, what are you going to say? Yes. You think Hand's worried about May? I love May, but Hand's not worried about that. Hand's
I'm definitely excited though to see May as well.
No, I am too. But I think his Hand has been lights out. If you look at the number, he's been lights out. He's been one of the premier people in the bullpen. And he comes here, he's like, none of these guys are going to be close. I can take this closing job. I'm going to get paid like this. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Listen, 2 for 24. I'm assuming the Mets would have offered that already.
Something that nobody knows yet, though. That's the thing. Like,
I think they were right up on the Springer 125. I think that was a good offer. I don't think we lowballed him. I think Toronto just really wanted him and said, "Hey, we're going to pay you the extra."
And like I said, Springer took the money and ran. He's not in it for a ring, because if you were, you would have came to New York. You would have came to the big city and balled out for us and made something happen and been part of something special this coming season. But obviously you didn't. So guess what? Your loss, someone else's gain.
Yeah, no, you're right. I want someone that wants to win the ring. But again, what does he have? 2? He got his rings. He wants to get his money. Fine. Again, I'm fine with not ever paying George Springer $150. I'm fine with that.
I was fine with what the offer was. Like,
yes.
And that's the next thing with free agency right now. You don't hear about these guys guys that are on the market exactly like what they were pushing for or whatever. It's not until the deal is finalized and we get the ESPN alerts like, oh, George Springer signed a 6-year, $150 million deal. We don't know the numbers anymore. We don't know the ballparks anymore because they're not talking. They're not making this stuff public as much as they used to.
No.
And that was one thing that used to make it very interesting and intriguing, not just for the owners that are trying to get these guys, but the fans as well.
Yeah. But again, then they get, I'm assuming sometimes they feel the pressure from the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they start hearing, oh, this leaked out, they offered them this, why are they so cheap? Blah, 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 you know how us fans could be. So, I'm assuming that's why they're trying to keep it quiet. And again, I think you're right. I don't think the players have too many places to go, but they just need that one other team. That's what it always is with this. You just find that one other team that you put against in negotiations, and that's it.
And it's funny because, like,
and
right now,
that's in Toronto. To me, Toronto had to come in and say,
"Hey, Toronto seems to be in for everybody right now.
Yeah,
if there's specific players that are being talked about throughout free agency right now, Toronto seems to be that one team that you're constantly hearing about in these reports and teams that are interested in this player and that player. It's the Blue Jays. I get that they have a pretty solid team right now and they're trying to build, like, they want to contend in the AL East. It's just like, I'm constantly hearing the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays. I'm like, oh my God, like, really? When did they get money like that? And there's a good chance that they're not going to be playing in Toronto this year. They're probably going to be up in Buffalo again.
That's why I think they're overpaying, because players are hesitant to go maybe to Toronto. Like, where am I going to live? Where are we playing? Where are we practicing? What is we doing? Where's my family staying? So they have to overpay. They have to overcompensate for that.
Now,
that might be the reason they overpay on these players.
Do the players in Toronto get paid in Canadian currency or U.S. currency?
No, I'm assuming it's U.S.
Toronto's only problem is that they need to shape their rotation in their bullpen. Yeah, but they keep stacking players upon players upon players.
But those are two big things. See, they have the lineup. They just won't have the pitch.
Yep.
That would be the issue.
Oh, man. All right. We're going to wrap it up.
Next month, I'll tell you that much.
I'm looking forward to pitchers and catchers reporting, but we are going to wrap it up for tonight. We're going to thank you guys for coming on in. Please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell and like. You can find me on Hammer's House and with the Spotlight Sports Network, and you can check out Ricky with the Daily Sporting. We're definitely going to be doing a lot more Mets talk. I'm trying to add as much content as I possibly can, and doing the Mets stuff now the baseball season's around the corner is something I'm going to do my best to stay on top of. So stay tuned for more. And we are out.
Thanks a lot.
Be safe, and most importantly, wash your hands and your asses. We out.